Many of you know Lynn and her studio, Art of Motion, and her dance company, the Art of Motion Dance Theater, a professional company which grew out of her work as founder and artistic director of Art of Motion, a nonprofit performing arts center, which is a vibrant part of our downtown for 18 years, and now the studio is called Heart of Motion. During the pandemic, Lynn had a moment, as many of us do, right? She got a phone call from a friend who shared a very important poem with her. This poem that you are going to hear read by our own Michael was written by a 26-year-old British poet who was home taking care of his 7-year-old siblings while his parents were on the front line of the pandemic in England, and his sister. Both his parents were doctors. His dad was considered the Dr. Fauci of England. His mom was a doctor and his sister was a doctor. They were all fighting the pandemic, and he was home with these two little 7-year-old twins trying to educate them and teach them this lesson of the pandemic. In that, he wrote this piece called The Great Realization, and it became a hit on YouTube. Some of you may have seen it. And he has gone on to create this piece that's now become worldwide known. Michael LeLuc, who has a day job, apparently at Citibank or something boring like that, is an incredible performer and a member of our Jamboree family. And he is going to give us the spoken text, and Lynn is going to give us a choreographed piece to this spoken text. Her costume is by Nicholas Kay, and it epitomizes a universal nighttime ritual of tucking your children into bed and wishing them sweet dreams, and all will be well in the morning. This piece is also entitled Hope, and tonight's theme is dedicated to hope for our community and for our beloved Eugene Thomas. Thank you.
But my love, you grow weary, sleepy thoughts about your head.
That one's my favorite. Please, I promise, just once more.
Okay, snuggle down, my love, though I know you know full well. This story starts before then, in a land I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight is 20/20. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and got much bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but then it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke. But the meaning must have melted, and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes grew squarer, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out the imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the skies grew thicker till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles, we'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic because our waste was never capped. Until each day when you went fishing, you'd pull them out already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why. it's best not to upset the lobbies. More convenient to die. But then, in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we were all hidden amidst the fear and all the while, the people dusted off their instincts. They remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you and calling up their moms. And while the car keys gathered dust, they would look forward to their runs. And with the skies less full of voyagers, the earth began to breathe, and beaches bore new wildlife that scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but some good news was in the making. And so when we found the cure and were allowed to go outside, we all preferred the world we found to the one we left behind. Old habits became extinct and made way for the new, and every simple act of kindness was now given its due.
But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together?
Well, sometimes you've got to get sick, my love, before you start feeling better. Now, lie down and dream of all of the things that we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of how it started and why hindsight is 20/20.